Hey everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom. We're doing a preview of, it really is boom times for leagues at the moment, in the fall of the Rowan Empire, trademark. There have been loads of leagues that have been sprouting out and, inarguably really, the most interesting has been Premier Battles. Concept is intensely intriguing and, the personnel are backing it up. So it's looking very, very exciting. So today, this episode, before their first ever event, their first ever match day, I should say, myself and the guest are going to go through. We're going to talk a little bit about the league, about the battlers on the teams, and about the event itself and the matchups. Just before we do that, please follow the show at Battle Rap Resume on Twitter. Subscribe, comment, leave us a review on iTunes. They're really, really appreciated if you can leave them there. Patreon, of course, as well. Everything on the show goes on there first. So if you want to help support financially, patreon.com/battleresume. Go on the link, check out what's there, because there's always new stuff coming up, but there's always, probably 5-6 hours of content there if you want to support. So definitely check that out. Get in touch with me as well, battlerapresume@gmail.com. But yeah, we got a lot to get through, so best get into it. And one of my most trusted, hands of the king to a certain extent, sidekicks on this show, Crafty. How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. That's very kind. Yeah, it's good. Always good to be back, man. 100 episodes later and all that.
Oh,
so you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, you were the second. You were kind of the first thing. It was really you and Shocks that I sort of reached out to. I just sort of sensed that I knew you'd say yes. I don't know what it was, so it's.
There you go. It's good. Well, yeah, man. It's been good, man. Yeah. To be honest. So yeah. This is what it's about, man. need a platform to There's a new league out. You know what I mean? Or there are several new leagues, and you've been posting about all of them and. Doing podcasts about all of them, so that's what it's about, man.
Yeah, exactly. The discussion, just it's doing stuff that I guess you'd want done yourself if it wasn't there. I don't mean to sound selfish or anything, but it's like there's a need, I suppose, and you sort of anticipate that. But yeah, yourself, obviously, apart from having great mastermind clashes, you've had actual clashes as well. We will do an episode. I know we've said this of your sort of. Because, like you say, we did Battle Resume 2, so it's like we've got a lot to sort of catch up on since then. But, all in all, you've been pretty busy.
Yeah, man, like life stuff outside of... You've got to apologise to me today. I've woke up, but not the best throat. You know what I mean? So hopefully I won't be coughing all the way through the podcast. But, so I've been quite busy outside of it. I did the Raptor clash, and I've kind of... It's kind of not. It is public knowledge that I was scheduled to battle Villain and not pulled out of it like 6 weeks before. Said I'm actually not going to do it now. So I'm taking a few months out. But yeah, I've been busy with other stuff, man. Like I'm just doing some research and studying and that. So yeah. But all blessed, man. All blessed. Been following the battle rap stuff and quite excited about what's going on, even though I'm not partaking currently.
This is the world's first and only team-based battle league by Shotty and Brixie. That in itself is a killer USP.
Mate, it's genius. I know it's been said, but people like these, you gotta understand about creative people. Like battle rappers are very creative people, and Shotty Horror is a very creative battler. And the way he's marketed himself over the years, the way he's sort of followed the, UFC, boxing, WWE, I'd say mostly WWE model, in the way he presents himself, performs, cuts promos. It makes sense for somebody like him to go, let's make a whole business. And especially the timing for him, like his recent 4-album deal with Sony and a artist development deal as well, which is amazing. And for him to kind of, off the back of all that, timing it like this, I feel it's something that's really smart. And like I say, for a creative person, it doesn't surprise me that Shotty would go and do that. And not just Shotty, obviously Briggsy, the whole sort of team behind it. But I know it's been years in the making for them. So no, it's really cool, man. And the way it looks, the way it's presented, the website, the promotional material, the packs, the Ultimate Team. I don't know if you're that familiar with FIFA and all that, the game. Yeah, I've played Ultimate Team in that, so I recognise the structure they're following and the Premier League format, So I'm a big fan of competition. I'm a big fan of competitive sports. So the whole format for me, whilst it's modelled on other successful brands and styles and sports, it's very much something that's not been done in battle rap, and it makes sense.
It's a paradigm shift, isn't it, for what we've been used to of just seeing straight ahead clashes for clash's sake. This sort of real quite sophisticated, dense, like you say, sport aping. I know there's an ape as a logo, but that kind of, it's Premier Battles, for God's sake. It's quite close to what we know. But it just seems like a completely a fresh take. It's a grand experiment of types, isn't it? Like, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, how this thing we love dear will do subjected to these sort of quite rigorous conditions.
Yeah, and like you say, it is fresh. It is something different. And to be honest, for me, it's something that's been needed for a long time. Like in the UK game, also in every league, really. You've got people showing up to clashes the day before going, oh, should I go? Should I not? Should I pull out? Pulling out for no reason. Going to battles, unprepared, choking. Especially like a lot of people who are kind of, set in their position, their top tier, whatever it is. They're getting paid a certain amount. They'll turn up and they take their paycheck and they'll go. What's different about something like this? Everything's judged. Everything's in the spotlight. Everything's being scrutinized by judges. You can't turn up and do that shit, and that's been a problem for a while. I've always been a fan of judged battles, whilst recognizing the flaws in obviously judging what is ultimately a subjective art form based quite largely around style clashes and preferential views towards what's happening in the battle and who's doing better. But it does legitimize the concept of a battle and competition, and it also encourages full preparation and what a team element does to it. In the same way you don't want to score an own goal, or you don't want to do a footballer doesn't want to do a back pass, and then straight to the other team and they E rounds the keeper and scores. You don't want to make those mistakes when you're in a team. You don't want to miss an open goal, whatever it is. So when you've got 4 players and a manager, there's collective responsibility. So not only if you turn up and choke and do what a lot of people have been doing over the last couple of years, not taking it seriously, getting drunk the night before, not only are you letting your brand down, but you could lose the match day for your entire team. So that brings a new level of responsibility to the battler himself.
And just to break down the format quickly, so it's 5 teams, is it? It's 5 teams.
5 teams. I believe they're going to branch out next season, yeah.
Okay. So, 4 battlers in a team. Is one of the battlers like a substitute, or is it just 4?
So you've got 4 in a team, which, again, this is going by what I think I've heard and Shotty said.
We're not the official podcast craft,
Yeah.
We weren't
but,
blessed.
I have heard like all of what Shotty's had to say about it in that on the Sarcasm City podcast, which is now the Premier Battles podcast.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So I listened to that one with Shotty Horror. So I feel like I know a bit about it, and also I was I did watch a couple videos and stuff. Again, not to like fucking be one of those dickheads who name drops and shit, but I got a like 5-minute video Shotty sent me maybe before the whole thing was public, and it wasn't something that was sent out, but it just broke down the whole format. So I'm trying to go off what I remember from that and saying what's going to happen on the match days. But it is certainly in that way where there's 4 people in a team, but you can deploy the players how you want if you're the manager, and the manager can battle if they want to. So it's not like, oh, this is my substitute. It's more like, all right, here's the team we've got in front of us. This is the 3-4 players they've got. Who are we putting forward to best suit the skills needed to win this match? Which is why I think the manager's has an important role in this. Like, it's very tactical, you know what I mean?
And I mean, not touching a nerve here, Craft, is there any reason why you weren't drafted?
You know what? I can only... I mean, there's a very good chance the 5 managers didn't approach me. But when... After I battled Raptor and Short Out, I think since then I've been contacted by every league. Like, so, Short Out, Cold Red, sort of...
Raptor's Full?
Not Raptor's Full. Is that the Irish one?
Yeah.
No, but I've been seeing what they're doing. That's cool. I've not
Terminal, holler at the boy Craft. He'll battle a no-name for you.
Okay. If Tom Quee says it, then I have to now.
Oh, Dane did.
Thing all over again. All right. So basically,
okay.
I got a DM off Shotty, and this was again a few weeks before Premier Battles was public, and he was like, he definitely sent me that info pack and was like, I've got something that might be interesting to you. And I can't remember what was said in that, but I might have hinted at that point that I'm not battling for a while, so I don't know if that influenced it. And then I wasn't sort of on the radar, or I just wasn't approached by a manager, which is very legitimate. Like, you know what I mean? There's so many battlers to pick from. I wouldn't expect myself to get picked if there's only 5 teams. So you know what I mean? So, but it's something that when I'm back to battling, again, not to make this podcast about me, but when I'm back to battling, like in a few months' time, I'll see what's going on, and then I think they've got a transfer window at the end of the season. So if I fancied playing, I'd probably just put a thing out going like available, free agent, whatever it is, and then maybe someone will come and holler, and I'll join the team, because I actually would really like to be involved in something like that, but I'd have to have the motivation to be battling every 2 months.
Yeah. That is an interesting conundrum, isn't it? It's forcing these people who aren't that active to be, you know, writing with purpose now. But let's just quickly go through the teams. You know, just sort of going through, because a fantastic roster. You know, it has to be said. When they're announcing these, I think early on people were a bit skeptical of what this thing was, you know, and then when they started to say, okay, these are the people that are doing battling, i.e. the top tier of battling in the UK, like your Souls, like your Kojays, like your Frankies, etc., you know, Sport for Riches. So, Knights is the first. I mean, just all in all, did you find the names a little cheesy at first? A lot of people tended to comment that.
So, to be honest, I don't. That's one of my criticisms of this league. I don't think the team names are good. But the thing is about that, and again, it's another subjective thing. Names are the kind of things that really grow on you. And like, if somebody were to name a team now and it had never been used before, Crystal Palace, you'd be a bit like, what the fuck? Right. Like, okay, bearing in mind, when it comes to football teams, then based off places, like that is an actual place. But like now, that's just like in my head, and I'm using that example as a Palace fan, obviously, but in my head, that's just so normalized. That's just, it's just Palace. But it is a ridiculous name when you think about it, if you was to break it down. And it's probably the same with things like this. I think Shark City is probably one of the better ones, just because it's based off Man City. It's quite general. I quite like Pride. I think it's just got that, you know, team element to it. And it's got obviously a lot of
the Spurs illusion, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that I don't know. And Mandrill Mob. I don't know. Like,
it's not very clear that it's a mandrill in the logo. It doesn't quite explain what that is.
And I didn't know what a mandrill was. I had to look it up. I
had to look it up as well, Luna.
So but that's cool. It's a cool little
no, it's nice.
After I looked it up, and again, Knights is probably just a little bit corny. You know what I mean? Even the logo is a bit like, well, they're not like gladiators. You know what I mean? They're battle rappers.
It's very medieval,
I'm expecting their kit now to just be like one of them
chainmail.
Yeah, exactly, with the helmet on.
Jousting out here, but Joker Star is the manager, and the battlers are, I should say, villain, tally, Old English, and dialect. I mean, it's a good mixture, isn't it? It's a kind of more intense style of punching.
It's an interesting one, and I think it's this and maybe one other team or a couple other teams. They're clear examples of a manager who's recruited a team of people he knows, trusts, and is also friends with, which I think are probably factors that you kind of need to take into account when you're selecting your team. But it's very much like, you know, the Harry Redknapp moves team. The next deadline day, he's going to sign, what was that midfielder he used to always sign in every bloody team? I can't remember my example now. That he brought to like QPR and everywhere. And he had like one or two other players. And it's kind of like, I imagine wherever Joker Star went, he would bring Villain and Old English. And you kind of got that as like the foundation of, all right, this is the team. This is like the core of the team. And then how I see it, he's brought in a couple others to kind of strengthen it. But I really like the idea of Joker Star as a manager. I think that's a real cool choice. He's so underrated as a personality. Like, whenever I seen him cut a promo, which again I'm gonna keep using terms like that because I think this whole setup is very like wrestling. Right. Joker Star, no one's gonna cut a better promo than Joker Star. Like, if he was making like a blog video to like promote the event, and he's just got that persona, you know, the god, and he's got all the nicknames, and he's a very decorated like artist in general, for his battles and his music. And I think he's just a really cool figure to have at the helm. And then the team itself, it's not the strongest team in there for me. For me, they're not going to win, but they might not get relegated either. You know what I mean? It's one. So because I think that's how it works. One team's going to get relegated, and then they're going to have other divisions the next season. Again, which is really cool and adds another thing of, well, yeah, you better turn up and perform properly. Otherwise, you're going to be battling fucking Bracey next year. No offense, Bracey. It was the first one that came into my head.
Battling Bracey's team, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, and it's one of them ones, man. So you don't want to get relegated. Villain, like, I've only got amazing things to say about Villain. Like, obviously, I was supposed to battle him the other month, and probably will do that at some point in the future. But what a great writer. And I think he's got to bring back that intensity in his performance that's been lacking the past couple of years. Like the real in-your-face Aggie villain. That's what everyone wants to see. And he's very hard to beat when he's like that. But he's added a lot of composure and really upped his writing game. And he's one of the best writers in UK battle rap. So him, great pick. I can see him winning battles. Dialect, one of the best, to ever do it in the UK. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Legend.
Yeah, he's just amazing.
He's
his
phenomenal,
performance. Oh, mate, his performance. Like recently he's been up in his performance again. I think since that Gemini battle where he was really shit.
Oh yeah.
Like just randomly he was just shit. Like I don't know why. I wasn't really expecting him to be that bad. And like he admitted that. I remember seeing it on Facebook. And then he just came back like just fucking swinging. Like he battled Tony on King of the Ronalds. Had very debatable, arguably beat him. Very debatable battle with Tony. And then like everything I've seen of him since then has been sick. And then the Scoop one recently, like I'm a Scoop fan and he bodied him.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think it really was a body. And I don't say that a lot. I think that term gets overused. So Dialect, you put him against certain people and he gets in their face and he does the grime thing and he does the punchlines and he's very funny guy as well. I think he's one of the best picks in the whole thing. And then, sorry, I feel like I'm just talking, man. Like, obviously, put your opinions on the battle.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening, man.
All right,
it's all good. It's all good.
I
talk too much on the show. It's all good.
All right.
We'll move on. We'll move on to Pride Battle Club, which
I was gonna quickly say though. I like Old English, but I will say I'm not sure about Tally. That's my only one. Does Tally win battles? Has Tally won a battle? I've seen a few of his battles.
Maybe, but not really.
Like some of the wordplay he does is very questionable. Like I think it was the archaic battle where I couldn't tell. Like again, he is a good battler and like he's got an amazing slogan. Like he's got one of the best slogans in battle rap.
Oh my god,
it's amazing. And he is a good performer. But some of I just don't think he's that good a writer compared to the other people in that team.
No,
so for me,
no. And if he goes against Juan in Pride, I think he just body him. Like he'd lose.
Just clowning him and shit.
Oh,
he's one of those. And like Tally just says he says things when we talk about football bars. The Santiago Bernabeu. I remember him saying, "If he acts anti, I'll go burn and bow." And I was just there, like I was in the crowd trying not to laugh.
Oh my god!
Like I'm not gonna dig on him too much. Yeah. Like, he says some things that I'm just like, because he gets a lot of praise.
Yeah,
so I'm just the only thing I say he has got for my preference, he's not my kind of rapper. I know a lot of people like him, and that's important. But for me, this league, and we'll talk about it as it goes on, which battlers are going to win battles? Because that's important. Is Tally going to win battles? Maybe not. So that's why that team is a bit hit and miss for me.
And we get into the Pride team, which I've got to be honest is a really good team. It's
your favourite manager as well.
It's January 20th. I'm very much like I actually I'm sending someone a t-shirt. He messaged me and he's like, I'm gonna wear it on cam when you're battling Breeze. I was like, yes. I was like, flood it with the logo. But back to Pride. We're back to this incredible team as well. Bobby, Frankie, Koj, Juan. Like it's just a collection of high talent.
Right. The interesting thing about this team is it's very balanced as a team. I feel like between good writers, good punchers, good performers, the humour element, it's almost like if you were putting a five-a-side team together, you'd want to have a striker, couple midfielders, one attacking, one a bit more holding, and then a centre-back. And I feel like that's how I don't think it's the best team in there, but it's got a nice balance. It's probably very much the Stoke or someone, you know what I mean, where I see them comfortably mid-table, but I wouldn't say it's going to beat, you know, some of the teams are getting onto later, like Shark City and those ones. So, obviously, Juan is Juan, like one of the most funny battlers in the UK. Probably got quite an underrated pen at times. Like he's got a nice turn of phrase. He's got a nice way of putting a double meaning together or a name flip. The problem I have with Juan, again, big fan of him, but doesn't win many battles for me. Probably loses most battles I've watched him do.
He won the top 8 tournament. He had some consecutive victories.
Yeah, but he lost a lot of them battles. I remember.
Really?
Yeah, mate. Who was it? Was it
Sleepy?
Vocab? No,
Okay,
Vocab.
okay,
Come on,
Vocab.
Vocab beat him. I think there was another, like Jay Dillon definitely beat him.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I think he's had a couple, like when I've seen him battle, I'd say Osh probably beat him. I'd say like Sharon beat him. I think every time I watch him, he beat Uno and he beat, like, to be fair, he beat Sleepy, he beat I'm trying to remember who else he's battled. He definitely beat someone else.
Did he beat O'Shea?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think Osh 2-1'd him.
He beat Arrows.
Is that the Australian?
Yeah.
That was a good battle. See, that's what I mean. That's one of them battles I was like, Juan does some nice, like, he had some nice bars in that and stuff, man. He wasn't trying to be funny a lot of the time. But, so I think Juan's great. I think a great person to have in your team, just to be able to go, right, that's a really interesting person on their team. He's quite hard to beat. Let's put Juan on him because he might do a really funny angle and really throw him off. But I don't see Juan as someone winning a lot of battles, personally. Whereas Koj, if Koj comes prepped, he'll beat people off the strength of his punchlines, especially if it's a 90-second round format, which I've heard it is.
Mm-hmm.
You've only got a few punchlines in there. And Koj is very efficient as a writer.
Huge.
So I see him as again, depends on attitude and what Briggsy can bring out of him, because Koj's got one of the worst attitudes in battle rap in terms of prepping, like consistency. He says himself, I'm inconsistently great or something. And it's true,
Slogan.
he is. And also, he is another one of those characters who's tended to pop up on social media and, you know, get involved in that side of it. And you don't really want that in your team. So it's all about management, really, there. And Briggsy's obviously signed him with the intention of being like, I'm going to be able to nurture Koj into a good battler and manage him. So I'm interested to see how that relationship pans out and if he can bring that out of Koj. You got Bobby Rex. You know, there's no one else like Bobby, man.
Incredible.
And again, he's just got that ability to, without using wordplay, without using necessarily conventional punchlines, the ability to just shake a room completely just by saying something that's almost a truth or a funny concept. He's got a very left field way of like bringing out a joke. And yeah, great pick from Briggsy there. Bobby's another one who's probably biggest downfall as a battler is consistency. Because Bobby, when you look at his resume, he's a very hard worker, man. He's battled so many people. He's battled more people than most people have in their whole career, and he's been doing it about 2 years. So, yeah, Bobby's worked really hard, but he's got a lot of battles where he's choked or just been off it that day. And rather than you look at some other battlers who have only done 8 battles, but they've all been solid. So, again, it's one of the ones with Bobby. If he's taken this league seriously and putting it above everything else, he's a big threat. But, you know, we're going to see how it goes. I think it's very... With this team already, it's looking like they could finish really high up or really low down. And I can't really call it at the moment. Because they're such talented people with potential, but who have to get a few things out of their system. And then you got Frankie, Frankie's probably on the other side of it, where no, that's not true, because he has done a couple battles where I've been short prep. I think the Cole J1 and things like that. But generally he's very selective about who he battles. And yeah, Frankie's as a writer, as a rhymer, always really entertaining. I always love listening to what he's got to say and what he's written. Even when he just sends me his bars to an event I'm not gonna make, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I get to hear him, whatever, and I'm always just like, playing him a few times when I'm on a train or whatever. So yeah, I think they've got a lot in their arsenal there. And Frankie, again, like when I try to think of people who's battled, I don't know how good he is at winning.
Right.
Because he always, very often, outrights his opponent. But his opponent will outpunch him or outfunny him or get more reaction, and he has got better at every battle. That has to be said. Like, I personally think when I clashed him at Checkpoint, that was like his turning point, where he kind of shifted a tier. He went like, I can fuck with all these people now, and gave me a really good battle that day, and was a lot more punchy and was a lot more, he just had a bit more bite to what he was saying.
Yeah, sass, yeah.
So when he brings that, but for me, a lot of his stuff is like a great piece of rap and writing, but in 90 seconds, it wouldn't win a round.
Sure.
Necessarily, if he was against someone like a Koj, and okay, they're on the same team, but that type of battler. So, yeah, for me, it's, again, a really talented team, but it's hard to predict where it's going to go. But I'm excited about that. You know what I mean? It's like, Arsenal have just made loads of new signings and no one knows who they are. So are they going to go and win the league, or are they going to finish 8th? You know what I mean? Yeah. So we'll see how it goes, man.
Glory Battle Club is next, managed by Tony D, which of course is another inspired. You can see him as some sort of Fergie-like figure in 20 years of Premier Battles, duking it out there. But Glory is his team now. Locksmith, Gem, A, and Rivers. I mean, obviously any team that has Gem in kind of has a little advantage.
Well, if he's taken the mold of Tottenham, I can't see there being a lot of Glory, in the team. So
footy banter.
A notoriously unsuccessful club. Right. I support Palace, so I can't really talk, but it's nice to have a dig at the big teams when you get a chance. Gemini, of course, one of the best in the UK, Yeah. But I'll be real with you, Tom. This is a team I have finishing bottom.
But why?
Right, if I look at all the teams, I'm scrolling through all of them now. Not that like they're gonna categorically have no points and not beat people like they will, but I think it's the weakest team. And I have a lot of love for the battlers in it, and this is the thing. I think there's a lack of variety there.
If you're just being objective, I suppose.
I think there's a lack of top tier there.
Well, there's certainly one.
Or like, it's tough, man, because
you're saying Locksmith's not top tier.
As a battler, no.
Wow.
As a battler, no. Locksmith, probably in terms of listening to him rap and like his ability, is probably one of my favorite rappers within the battle rap community. It's just something's not clicked in battles for him.
Sure. And
he's quite open about that. Like if you have a conversation with Locksmith, he'll be like, I'm not a battler, I'm a rapper. Like I'm not. But in some senses, I think he's been a bit underrated and underappreciated in some of his battles. Like you look at like his Briggsy clash, he's had a few where I think he's won and looked really good. But I don't know, man. You got to remember, there's this league and this tournament you're coming up against Osh, Soul, you know what I mean? Yep. Shocks. I don't know. I look at this team and I'm like, I don't see them beating those heads.
It's got Rivers.
Right, A again. Did you watch his villain battle?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, it was.
I think villain really beat him quite well.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. It's because I love A, man. As a battler and as a person, like, I really fuck with him a lot, man. Like, he's a fucking dude. Got a lot of love for him. But he has improvements to make as a battler for me to get to that top tier level. And for me, this is a very much case of Tony throwing people into the deep end, is what I thought when I saw this team. I would have almost expected someone like Shocks to be on Tony's team.
Right.
To be honest, the way I don't know how the picks went, and I can imagine it with Tony. To be honest, what he's like as a person, he left it all to the last minute, and everyone was gone. Like, we're being real.
Right.
Like, that's what Tony's like. He would have forgot about it and went, oh yeah, my manager at Premier Battle was, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, shit, better put a team together. Oh, Soul's gone, Shocks is gone. Like, A's like wicked.
Oh yeah.
But I was gonna say, for every one haymaker he spits, there's 2 or 3 real filler bars. And if you watch the Villain battle, Villain really got at him for some of the writing and for some of the things he's done and said, which I don't think you can get away with when you battle against someone like Villain. So for me, I don't know, I think A's someone who can become a household name but isn't quite there yet, in a sense where Gemini's already there, Tony's already there. Rivers is really interesting for me because, for me, he spat some of my favorite punchlines. Like, he's such a big puncher. But again, I'm going to refer back to the Villain battle, where I think Villain beat him and beat him well, regardless of the judging format that was really skewed that day on the UKBO. The things Villain said, and that's the kind of battler Villain is, he'll bring an angle out and he'll construct amazing punchlines around it. And really broke him down for some of the things he said. And some of the things that Rivers was saying in that battle, I just think he really got dwarfed. So it's a tough one because I really like A and Rivers. And like, Rivers is like the king of the gap. Like, there's no doubt about that. He's in that league, he's proven. I think it's a different beast, some of the other battlers in other leagues. And I don't think he's ever beaten someone from another league. And that's not to say that he can't. And that's the same with A. They could beat everyone in this league. They could win every match and every match day, and it wouldn't surprise me. It's just the fact to this point, they're unproven. So that's not a diss to them. It's not saying they're not. It's just, for me, I'd expect the more experienced battlers and proven battlers to get the wins. And that's why I made the comment that I could see this team finishing bottom if I was to pick one. It is the lack of variety. I think they're similar styles of battlers. And the fact that Gemini... I think Gemini is as good as anyone thinks Gemini is, yeah? But I don't think he's as unbeatable as people think he is. I think the time limits are going to cause a big problem for him because Gemini's rounds are usually 5 or 6 minutes long. I don't think he's a great editor. So 90-second rounds, I'm starting to think, is he going to suffer in that format with a time limit? Because I think if you...
Who's he lost to, though?
See, that's the thing. That's why it's difficult. I don't think Gemini's clearly lost the battle.
No.
But I watched that Shocks battle thinking, if I only take 3 minutes of every Gemini round versus the 3 minutes that Shocks spits, it's a close battle.
Yeah.
But it's not a close battle because Gems are 9 minutes long. Especially the first round. I think the first round, Shocks' first round in that battle, is one of my favourite rounds spat this year. In any league, anywhere. Top 3 rounds. I love it. I think it's way better. I think he definitely wins that round. If you take only 3 minutes of Gemini's round to put it against. So, for me, it's like, Gemini has won a lot of battles. He is one of the best. I'm not dissing him at all. But this is a different format to what Gem's comfortable with. He writes a lot of material and doesn't take any of it out. He doesn't edit. And I think... I'm looking at Shark City and the Mandrill Mob, which we're going to get into. Gemini versus Soul, Gemini versus O'Shea. I think he loses. So if you're putting, it depends. If I was Tony, I'd be putting Gemini not against the biggest dog from each team because I'd want to guarantee the Gemini win that he'll get over someone else. But then where's the other wins coming from that team? If he's battling Chrisley's, Raptor, Yunnan, are they going to lose to A, Rivers and Locksmith? Really? Do you think they are? I don't.
No.
So this is my problem. It is a good team. They're good battlers. They're very good rappers. They're good at rapping. They're good punchers, but I've got a problem with the balance of that team.
Okay. Yeah.
But remember, the managers can jump in, so technically Tony's on that team as well.
Okay.
That's a factor to consider. And Tony's very hard to beat.
Yeah. Mandrill Mob with Luna C at the helm. Matt O'Shea, Shocks, P Soldier. I like the makeup of this team.
Again, I think it's a balanced team. Luna C, it's interesting to see him at the helm. Someone who's not really been involved in battle rap. Not someone you really see at events. You know, he kind of does his own thing. He's got a successful career in his music. So he's going to be at every event. He's really properly involved in it and managing a team. And he's obviously just put together a team of people he likes. Like, not likes, always mates with. Obviously he's mates with like Matter and P Soldier anyway. But it is very much like, this is just a team of people who I think are good. And it's the impression I get, this is just a Luna C sort of favourites.
Right.
And I really like that about it. I think it comes across, again, like humour, bars, and just aggression from Shocks. You know, the sort of left field, strange almost approach of Matter in many ways. In how the angles he selects and the way he talks and his sarcasm, and you know, I think again there isn't really anyone like Matter. I've always been a big fan of Matter. So if we're going through the team, P Soldier, the guy makes me laugh so much. Some of the things he says, and the only thing I'd say is, does he win a lot of rap battles?
I'm not too sure, really.
That's the problem. He's such a funny guy.
Oh, yeah.
That he could probably beat anyone with his personality alone, especially in the 90-second format. But I wouldn't say like he's got a track record of being a winning battle rapper, should I say. So he does a lot of the more on-beat stuff these days. And I like him a cappella a lot. So I don't know if things like 2-on-2s and on beats are going to come into this league, because again, if it is, it's an even smarter team, because there's people on this team who can battle on beat. They've got a very successful 2-on-2 team there with Matter and P Soldier.
Matter and Luna could team up if he hops in.
I personally don't see it happening, but obviously it's a possibility.
You know, yeah.
I don't see Luna and Shotty battling unless it's against each other.
That is the money match left really in the UK scene.
That's what I'm saying. And that's going to be, the event will be named Shotty versus Luna. It won't be a Premier Battles match day event, you know what I mean? So I don't see that coming into it. And I don't see Luna battling on 2-on-2, personally. But, yeah, P Soldier's an interesting pick for those reasons. I'm a big fan of him. Shock's a rebel, the champ, the man, the myth, the legend. You know, that's a great pick. And if you was to put 5 managers down and predict the 4 they're all going to pick, nobody would have predicted that.
Yeah.
That Luna was going to pick Shocks. Especially that the rest of the team's North. You know, they're from the North. I would have expected a fully North team from Luna.
Yeah.
He's gone, you know what, I'm going to bring in the champ, the hot property at the moment in the UK, and put him on my team. And I like that. Smart. Very smart. So P Soldier, Shocks the Rebel, Matter. You know, I spoke a bit about Matter already, but very versatile battler. Someone who I think's lost a lot of interest though. When I watch him battle with the last few ones, I feel like he's been a bit lackadaisical,
Sure.
bit more off it, bit more relaxed in his approach. I want to see a little bit more from him. I think he's got a lot more. I think he's been hitting 60-70%. But great battler, very decorated battler in the scene.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, I mean, booking battles is quite a long-form experience. You know, you get asked to do something, you have months to prepare, etc. Maybe it's a last-minute thing. But here, all the battlers, say someone who might be a little bit more uninspired than, like Matter, for example, they're being forced regularly to write for people that they might not necessarily have been paired up with, but the dictates of the tournament have led them this way. Do you think this is going to be a good thing for performance and writing?
It's time will tell, mate. I think it emphasizes the role of the manager in motivating his players and inspiring them. And one of the ways to do that is by selecting the correct matchups for them. You know, again, you were saying before we went on the show, use football analogies if we should. And I'm going to use another one. I've dropped a few already. I'm sure there's a countdown somewhere of how many I've used. But if you're playing against flipping, I don't know, you're playing against Real Madrid and they're putting Cristiano Ronaldo like left wing. You know, you don't want to put like fucking Danny Rose in defense against him, realistically. Or whoever it is, you want to put a top dog to stop him. So if you've got a certain player there, you don't want to put him against someone who he's going to have a tough day with, who he's going to go to that battle thinking, fuck. And you got to give them a match that they think they can win, that they're inspired for. There's got to be a talking process between the battlers of who they want from each team. Battlers and managers at this point, if they're smart, they should have already listed their ideal battlers matchups for each team and start preparing. Not start writing, but just start being like, that's what I've got this season. That's my fixture list. So they'll already know months in advance everyone they're battling. So in the back of their mind, it's all set in stone. It's not a monthly basis where they're going, I've got a new battle. Shit, I've got something to inspire myself for this person. So I think the manager's got an important role in this league. And like you say earlier, it just adds another dimension, adds another freshness to battle rap. More excitement, more things to discuss, more things to talk about. Premier Battles are going to be doing a lot of extra content for their channel.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
to their
to seeing
subscription thing, right? And things like that, you know, behind the scenes, what the manager's up to, how he's thinking, how he's planning, his thought process behind how he's manipulated the fixtures to try and win. All comes into it. So someone like Matter, if you can inspire him, he's a beast. And then last but not least, you've got the GOAT, O'Shea. What a pick. What a pick. And 90-second rounds, man. O'Shea's hard to beat in 90 seconds, man. If you've got 4 minutes to go, look, O'Shea, I'm a better writer than you. I'm going to break you down. All right, then. But 90 seconds, you got to get to it quickly. And O'Shea will tell you exactly what you are in 90 seconds. If he's battling me, bruv, he's going to go in on my work, my poetry, my fucking hair color, all this shit as effectively as he can quickly. I'm not going to be able to go, oh Shay, here's some bars about fucking Greek mythology. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, O'Shea's one of the biggest picks in this tournament because he came from battling in 60-second rounds. That's how Don't Flop started. That's how Grind Time was. That's how the Jump Off was. That's how all these original leagues were. Fucking Spin the Mic and Scribble Jam. You know, not that O'Shea was battling all of them, but he was at that time. That's what he would have been influenced by. So a lot of these guys aren't used to battling in 90-second rounds, and I just feel like O'Shea, how funny he is, how quickly he can make you laugh.
Yeah.
Everyone on that team, on the other teams, is thinking, fuck, looking at that team. Because they're like, I don't want to battle O'Shea. I don't want to battle Shocks. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And then Matter and P, again, they're wicked at what they do. I'm not saying they're as good at winning battles, but they will win battles if they put their mind to it. So yeah, man, that's for me. Between this and the one we're about to go for, I don't know who's going to finish first and who's going to finish second. But those are my top pick for top two, definitely.
And we get to Shark City, which is managed by Shotty, and we've got Soul, Chrysalis, Raptor, and Yunnan. I mean, fuck it, Galacticos, right?
Mate, it's incredible. And the maybe one thing I'd give to Luna's team over Shotty's is that variety and balance I was talking about. But having said that, within these battlers, you've got three or four, for me, very versatile battlers who are the complete package. And Shotty being the ultimate showman in battle rap, you know? being the entertainer that he is and the man behind all of this, he'll have a plan. I know he's based his team a lot around Man City, so he's quite into the football format as well, which I'm cool with, man. I'm a big football fan, man. I watch my fucking fair share of Premier League. Like, I like that it's based off the Premier League because that is an exciting.
Yeah, we know it works.
Sport. It's a proven format in every sport. This thing, this team based, this subscription based idea that people can buy into. Yeah, things start going viral and then the fan base goes up. You know what I mean?
What do you think of the platform they're going for? Because apparently it's not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on, like you say, a Fight Pass, a WWE, a Netflix-style subscription, which is, very modern, very cool. I mean, is this sustainable?
I think it's sustainable. I think YouTube's stock's going down. I've done a lot of research into it and market research.
As a channel, I can just say.
But they'd be stupid not to utilize YouTube at all, is what I'd say. In the same way WWE now, if you look at their YouTube channel, they post top 10s. They post, this moment happened on Raw this week with like a title of, oh, someone gets ambushed. You know, in the same way they could go, oh, Soul shuts down the room with the punchline about whatever. And then that can get loads of views. And people go, what the fuck's this about? I want to go watch the whole battle. And then they go subscribe and pay their $4.99 a month, which I've heard that's the price. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I want to go to the events. All this, I want to buy some merch. It does feed into it all. So I think they'd be stupid not to use YouTube in that way.
And taking a measurement of the pulse of fandom from the UK Battle Rap group, especially on Facebook, people are going mad for this. I was saying this at the fucking Chucked Out event to a few people. Like, no offense to the league, but nothing's happened yet. But I can't believe how rabid people are. People are so excited.
I mean, I'm out of the forums and all that. So that's interesting to hear, man. That's pretty cool.
Crazy.
What they're doing.
No, I should say, for anyone listening, yeah, I just seeing firsthand, people are picking their sides, they're debating, they're going in,
That's exactly what Shotty would have wanted, man. And part of it is the people on board, man. It is the fact that Shotty and Luna are managing teams. These are two of the most popular battlers in UK battle rap history. And the whole selecting the sides, it does something it's very much a psychological thing of historically and how we've evolved as well. Things like territorial battles, teams, tribes. It gives everything the extra dimension. It gives everyone a sense of purpose. If you're following a team compared to following a person, you feel a part of something. And it's one of them things. There's a psychological study, I can't remember who did it, of going into schools and people's sports teams, right? And that there'll be a set of certain kids playing football against other kids. And when you give the kids coloured jerseys for their team, they're more aggressive. They show more signs of aggression. When you give them certain colours, like orange and red, they're more aggressive. So things like the fact this is team-based, the fact that I've heard they're all going to be wearing their shirts when they battle.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't know that.
The teams will have shirts, like football shirts, and they'll all be on sale and everything as well. You can get your shirt with the battler's name on the back or your own name on the back.
Yeah.
It's how it's going to work, right?
Okay.
I just feel like that sense, especially from the hardcore fans that go into these groups, that sense of tribalism, that sense of being part of a team, it adds a dimension of support. So that doesn't surprise me. When you look at what we are as humans and how we react to things that are team-based or territory-based, it doesn't surprise me that people would be more on board with that and more excited and more aggressively supporting something.
And the team itself, I mean, again, is just, full of such incredible battlers.
Big argument for this being the best team. Mm-hmm. Because for me, they've got the best battler in the world right now, which is Soul. Mm-hmm. I don't know who's beating Soul.
No.
To be honest. Again, 90 seconds, I think, suits Soul. He's a huge puncher. Can be very funny when he wants to be. It's hard to get a round off Soul, let alone a battle off Soul. So I don't need to talk about Soul. Chris Lee's. I'm having a think here because I watched this Shuffle T battle on the pay-per-view, the chalked out one. It was alright. Like, Chris can be amazing, and then sometimes he's a bit underwhelming. So, again, I think 90 seconds does suit him. But I think he's as strong as anyone in this, don't get me wrong, but it's the consistency thing again. I'd want to see him come and go there to body someone. I think he's almost been quite relaxed, considering he's got that aggressive personality type and he's been known for that in the past. He does tend to be quite lax in certain battles. So, again, it's all about management. Did
you see him versus Shuffle?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, bro. I watched that on the pay-per-view. I wasn't aching to watch it again after it finished. You know what I mean? Whereas I watched the Soul Battle twice, the Dialect Soul one. You know what I mean? It's that difference of, like, seeing someone really go for it. But having said that, Chris is funny. He's excellent at rapping. He gets to the point with his punchlines. He's good at angles. He is the whole package as a battler. Genuinely the full package. And his charisma, his projection, all these things that you got to take into account. But I only question his consistency. So if he can be consistent, right, that's 2 down. That's a very strong team. Raptor, talent-wise, one of the best. One of the most talented writers, musicians I've come across in this. His personality lets him down massively.
Right.
Now, Shotty's got to be comfortable that he can get Raptor to not fuck about. Go out drinking all night before a battle. And I'm not going to talk about too much about the situation with me and Raptor's battle.
Sure.
But he let a lot of people down that day, including me, not going to lie. I was very disappointed. How he told me. I'm not going to go into that.
Sure.
It's not relevant.
Okay. We'll discuss that on our future episode.
Alright, that's fair. Okay. But he had everybody convinced, including me and person paying for the battle, everything, that it was going to be the best Raptor we've ever seen. And as soon as he turned to the venue, I knew he was going to be shit. I knew it. I was almost already disappointed about the battle that hadn't happened yet. And he's done that a few times. Yet we've seen the Tony D Raptor. We've seen the Big Cannon Raptor. The Shocks Raptor. That was a really good Raptor. He's had some of the best performances in recent years. And he's such a good writer. It pains me, man, because he's so good. His music's amazing. His battles are amazing. He needs to sort his attitude out. And I'm not saying that as a hater. I'm saying that as a fan.
Yeah.
It's disappointing at this point. It is like watching a son disappoint you.
Wow. Deep.
Because I'm invested in these people, man. They're some of my favourite writers in the world in battle rap. I watch Raptor, I'm like, this guy could beat fucking anyone in his day. That's what I was thinking. And I see him in a title match. I see him in these. I'm just like, come on, bro. So many people, if they had half your ability, would give it their all. So this is all about whether Shotty can get something out of Raptor, can get the fighting Raptor, and get him to go in and body someone. But for me, he's a liability as much as anyone else in this league because of his track record in the past couple of years. And again, that's not hating. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. He's inconsistent because of his attitude, not because of his ability. So that's the one that almost gives me the edge to Mandrill Mob. Because of the Raptor factor.
The Raptor factor. And
can he translate that? And then we've got Unanimous.
Yeah.
Who, again, you could put in the exact same category for a lot of the things I just said.
Right.
It's almost like a mirror. Unanimous, man. What a talented rapper. Yeah, his personality. And it feels harsh saying the word personality because he has a great personality and he's a really nice person. I really like him, but he's got that personality that holds him back. And maybe it's passion. Maybe it's good things that he's just not found the right way to channel. But we're talking about one of the legends of UK battle rap, let alone one of the best. Someone who's been there from the start and consistently battled and grown up on camera as a 17-year-old, and we've seen him grow up into a great rapper. His Quill battle, phenomenal, man. That was the last one I see him do.
Yeah.
Some of the writing in that, mate, fucking hell. Outrageous. That first round is just instantly he won the battle off that first round. And yet, he's pulled out of clashes recently, pissed a lot of people off on Twitter, and done all the stuff that we associate with the bad side of Unanimous, who's not a bad guy. I've really vouched for Tommy a lot. I will vouch for him. But he needs to sort it out. And again, this is where the manager comes in for me. If he can manage Chris Lee's Raptor and Unanimous, I don't think Soul needs man management. I think he motivates himself. He's a disciplined person. He prepares for battles. But the man management of those three is the key factor to them winning the league and winning all the battles. They could win every single clash, not even drop a battle. But it depends on those things. So for me, excellent team. I'm excited about this team. I'm excited about this league. Seeing all these battlers go head to head in a judged battle format. You know, bring back that judging, man. Make it fucking matter. Put something on the line. Put your reputation on the line. Put your team's status in the league on the line every time you step in that ring. But for me, if I was to pick right now, I'm saying Mandrill Mob. Don't know about you, Tom. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think they're a very strong team. But I need to see the whole thing play out, really. I need to get a feel after this initial event, which we'll get into now, the first match day, I should say. I think they're doing a press conference beforehand as well.
That's all the shit I want to see, man. I love that side of it, man. I don't like the bullshit fuckboy side of it, where everyone's fucking about on forums and shit.
Sure.
But I love when that's channeled in a good way into, like, you know, promoting the battles, creating a little grudge, creating a little bit of tension. That's brilliant. That makes a better battle. So yeah, I'm all for stuff like that. Big up Shotty for that.
So we get to the you know, the first event entirely then, and this you know, this is going to go down Saturday the 3rd of February from midday. 16 plus Ruby Lounge, which I used to live in Manchester for a while, so it's quite a central venue that I'm familiar with. Obviously go to premierbattles.club. We'll put all the links in the description for all these socials and stuff like that. So yeah, this match day is Shark City versus Mandrill Mob, and also Pride versus Knights. So we'll start with Shark City versus Mandrill Mob. I mean, we kick off with I think you messaged me, didn't you, after this was announced, because obviously Soul Matter is my favourite battle, so there being a rematch, you wanted to know my take on it, and it is bittersweet, dear listeners. I'm sure many are aware. I've raved about Soul versus Matter ad nauseum now, but you know, as unstoppable as Soul is, someone like Matter could possibly be that recalcitrant, you know, block.
It's interesting, isn't it, man? Because it's almost like 5 years on.
Yeah, I think it was 2011. Yeah.
So there's got to be fresh angles and things like that, and things that have happened since then. And it's not like they're going to be uninspired for this. Yeah, I think it's an interesting rematch. It's not a rematch I would have thought about as a rematch happening, to be honest. But I've got Soul winning all day, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. 9 out of 10 times this battle happens in 2018, I think Soul would win it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Soul just is that guy, isn't he, right now? Like,
you've got to base it off form, man. If we're looking at this as a sport, we're basing it off a form table. You see the Soul, you see the WWWWLW. You see Matter, you'll see the WDDWL. You know, has been draws, losses, wins, all of it. So on a form table, Soul's the best in the world. That's not a diss to Matter. That's just I think Soul's the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Because no one's punching like he is right now.
No.
And battle rap's about punchlines at the end of the day.
It is, isn't it? That seems
whether you're joking or whether you're serious, you're still punching. So, yeah, I've got Soul for that. I don't know about you, mate.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it'll be a good matchup, but I can see Soul taking that.
Yeah, no body. Like, Matter's fucking heavy, but Soul will win.
And looking at the next matchup, then we have Raptor versus O'Shea, which is something that kind of you feel should have went down by now.
Yeah, man. Again, depends what Raptor we're seeing, but I've got O'Shea taking that, man. And again, that's not a diss to Raptor. I think O'Shea would beat most people in this league. I would have put O'Shea on Soul if I was managing that.
Right.
Yeah, I would have given him a different problem than another writer bar type battler. Not that O'Shea isn't a great writer, he fucking is, but he's a funny man. I mean, I would have put, if I was managing that, I would have put O'Shea on Soul. Just been like, have some of that, Soul. Or he's going to call you a Scottish cunt for 90 seconds 3 times. Do something about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But no, you know, Raptor Osh is a good battle. Can go either way. I've got Osh taking it.
Okay. Chris Lees versus Sharks. This is a real warring titan sort of clash. I hope Chris is more combative than he was in the Shuffle Clash, at least.
Yeah, I almost feel like, no discredit to Chris Lees, I'm just talking about stylistically.
Sure.
I would have put Unanimous on Shocks. I think that would have given Shocks more of a problem. But Chris Lees, I hope Chris Lees goes for the funny. He's a very funny battler. I hope he goes for that side of it against Shocks. But I can see Shocks just fucking snapping on him relentlessly and winning. Because that's what Shocks does.
You're not wrong.
Absolutely relentless, Shocks. Yeah, for me, it's a 2-1 win for Mandrill Mob there.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you thinking the same?
Yeah, I concur, definitely.
I mean, I'm very excited, man. They can go either way. I'm hopefully there at this event. I'm fucking excited.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a point for a overall win, isn't it, rather than individual wins?
Yes, it's based on the team, man. But I think they've got stuff like all the normal Premier League stuff, like Player of the Season, all this shit. Right. So like it does. You still want to keep your individual record looking tight.
And then we get to the sort of second phase. I wonder how they're going to do it. I wonder if they're going to do one match and then the other match, or
I think that is how they're going to do it, man. Okay. I would assume so because it'd
make it a bit more fun to watch, I suppose, rather than being fragmented. And
what I like about what they said is they're all judged at the end. So it wouldn't be like Soul Matter is judged, Raptor Osh is judged. Oh, Shark City are 2-0 up, so the third match doesn't really matter. And then the third battle's a bit shit because they're a bit demotivated. All the battles happen, and at the end you find out what the score was. I quite like that as a system.
Yeah, I guess how would they keep it secret? Like, would someone tell someone? Would it get out? I don't know.
Nah, I don't think you get the judges into a private room and they tell you who won it. As long as them judges ain't going around telling who they voted for, you're fine.
It's a lot of snitches in battle rap craft. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's actually facts, man. I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of snitching and bullshit in the battle rap. Some of you lot need to calm the fuck down, man. There's a real life as well. Anyway, that's my rant over.
All right. Pride versus Knights. Pride versus Knights. Koj versus Joker Star.
Koj. Oh, we've reversed the flyer. I see what you done there.
Oh yeah.
Very interesting. You caught me off guard there. I was about to talk about Bobby Rex, but it's fine. We're gonna go for this one. Koj versus Joker Star. Alright, we're seeing early on the manager draft himself in. I wonder what his reasoning is, man. This is why I want a press conference. I want Joker Star to say why he didn't. I want there to be some feisty words going on, man. Why didn't you trust your team? Why are you battling? You know what I mean? But I see Koj winning it. But again, Koj's prep game is one of the worst in the UK scene. He probably chokes more than he doesn't. And considering his ability, that is a fucking joke. But if Koj's prepped, it's all factors, man, innit? But I'd like to think I'm basing all these assumptions off very fully prepped battlers because this is a new format and it's all judged. I would like to think Shotty's got them under contract that they are not going to be shit. So I'm going to go...
How can you do that, though? I mean, it's kind of chaotic, isn't it?
Payment, I've always said,
right.
Pay a deposit and don't pay someone if they're shit. I'm an advocate for that, man. Because if you pay someone a bit of their money and go, right, now just go and spit 3 rounds, we'll pay you the rest. Then it's a business, it's a financial incentive, it's a career incentive.
Sure.
You know, you can come into work, we'll give you half your wage for coming in and doing a day's work, but if you don't fucking do your paperwork, we're not paying you the rest. You're gonna do the paperwork.
Okay.
Make them prep, right? Whether it's a financial incentive, whether it's if you choke, your manager's allowed to draft you out of the league, do a transfer. They're allowed 1 transfer a season or something. I would do that and then go, cool, you choked. Sorry, mate. I'm getting this person into our team because I need to win the next match day. So I'd like to think there's incentives in place. And again, Shotty being a smart guy will ensure that's happening. So let's go by the assumption that everyone's prepped. Koj versus Joker Star, both prepped really well. Amazing battle. I've got Koj taking it because he's a massive puncher. Joker's probably a more entertaining personality. I'll always enjoy watching Joker Star battle. Big fan, but I'm just talking about a win or loss here. So for me, Koj.
Okay.
But there you go.
Okay. Juan versus Old English. I mean, how do you see this going?
This is the toughest one on the card to talk about.
Right.
Because it's a real style clash. Though I'd argue that both of them are effective users of sarcastic humour. Juan ultimately is a sarcastic battler and very dry and witty. But Old does that as well. If you look at his recent battles. He probably punches less than Juan. Though that's my thing. He punches a bit less.
I think that's fair.
It's really tough, man. My head's saying Juan for that.
I really hope Juan does, and I hope I'm not treading on toes, a SpongeBob round.
Oh, for that outfit. Yeah. That I think he will. You know, that's the kind of Juan research.
Like
Nah, he will, man.
I think he battled at that event as well. I think he battled Vocab.
Oh yeah, he'll remember, mate. These types of battlers with the research game, and they keep it all on spreadsheets, man. They keep it all on. They got a little battle rap spreadsheet. They've got everyone's name there, and it will say like Old English, the outfit, the date. It's like Gemini's one with all the bars that someone's used. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's easily the research-based battlers, mate. They know what they're doing. Like, Ogmios probably got like files in his cabinet, like and printed newspapers and stuff for every battler. You know what I mean?
Bobby Rex versus
Juan will have some shit on Old.
I think, yeah. I think.
I got Juan winning that, man.
I do as well. Yeah.
But it's tough because I can see Old winning, but I'm gonna predict Juan and just be fucking controversial. Let's go, Juan.
Bobby Rex versus Villain is the final Pride versus Knights battle of the day.
I love both of them for different reasons. Bobby's my boy, man. Fuck. But I think Villain's gonna beat him.
Really?
I think Villain will break down his style. He'll go in on what, you know what I mean? He'll go in on him a bit, of like what he does, and not that I think it is, because I think what Bobby does is really difficult, and I couldn't fucking do it. And how he entertains a crowd is second to none. But I think Villain will try to call him simplistic in the way he did to A and Rivers. And when Villain does that to you, it's a real effective breakdown, man. Because Villain's an incisive writer and very direct, and he'll really gun for you, man. So it's hard. But Bobby does pick really straightforward, accessible angles and do them really well. So I'd say that is hard to beat. But Villain's got to up his performance for this. I'm not saying that. But again, on the assumption that we're getting the best Villain, that if we was getting like the Yunnan level of aggression that I've seen Villain do, I think Villain will win. But I can see Bobby winning it again. It's tough. But so I've got for that one, I think a 2-1 win for Knights.
Yeah. Again.
But I'd argue again, like if it was structured differently and the manager had given them different sets of battles, I could easily give it to Pride. So I think that with both of these matchups, that's why I think the managers are important. So yeah, it's interesting, man. I've got. What about you? I've got it 2-1 there.
Yeah. I've got Koj winning. I've got Juan winning, and I've probably got Villain winning. Yeah, so I can definitely see that matching up. So
even if Bobby's winning, it is still a win for Pride either way for there.
Yeah,
because we've Juan and Koj. Yeah. Interesting not to see that on the day, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Really good matchups, man. A real sick card, that.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's very, very exciting. And, shout out to Premier Battle's done a really good job so far. Definitely looking forward to this going on. Shout out to Sarcasm City, as you mentioned before as well. They are their sort of official podcast. Yeah, why did you pick me? But no, shout out to those guys. And they have loads of it. They had a Yunnan episode just recently that was really, really good. So I shared that on the Twitter, so check it out. And obviously check out their channel as well. But yeah, Craft, all in all, if this goes well, this could be a very exciting thing for Battle Rap, right?
Hugely exciting, man. Like I'm excited talking about it, man. I've been excited this whole podcast because we're speculating on something that's not happened yet, and it could go either way. It could blow up, It could just be cool. Either way, it's a win-win because it could just be a cool thing that the core fans of Battle Rap go to every 2 months, and there's a sick match day in League, or it could blow up and reach a new audience that it hasn't before.
Yeah.
And then again, all the battlers win because at the end of the day, if battlers can eat off of this and get paid and all this shit, and there's a lot of stuff coming in and sponsors and fan bases, and battlers can do this stuff full time or part time, it'd make the battlers better.
Yeah.
The writing time and all this kind of stuff. So I'm just excited to see where it goes. It's nice that it's spearheaded by Shotty in the same way it's nice that Chalked Out spearheaded by Shocks and Ambi. It's cool people to have involved.
People who know.
And all the other leagues doing their things, around the country. Shout out all of them, really. But I'm more excited about this league for the reason that I'm a sports fan. So I'm a fan of competition. And I want all battles to be judged. I said that for years. So for me, this is like, I can really just sit back as a fan these next few months, which is what I'm doing anyway, and just enjoy watching things unfold. And fucking subscribe to their network when it's out, and I'll be doing all that. And yeah, like you say, man, get your tickets for this match day, because I've heard they're selling very quickly, and you want to be a part of it. It's the first one ever. I want to be at that first event, and when it all kicked off, in the same way, anyone who's in that basement when O'Shea first battled on that first day, when this whole thing started, that would have been a cool thing to be at. Yeah, so that basement in Brighton or whatever it was, I would have loved to be there. So yeah, make sure you're there, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Support the network. We'll put all the links in the description. This is a very cool thing, and the amount of talent involved, I'm sure it's going to be a success. Craft, obviously, we are going to have you back, probably in the new year, to go through all the battles since. A lot of fucking battles to talk about, isn't there? Like Frankie, Pedro, Shufflo.
Yeah, XQZ, Kid Verbal, Raptor on Chalked Out, Lazy on King of the Ronalds. I've done the jump off twice.
J-Red,
Pedro.
Mac.
I wouldn't count the J-Red one, to be honest, because that was in like a theatre show.
Yeah, sure.
I think they've taken it off Verse Tracker now anyway.
It's still on Verse Tracker, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, they should take that off, man, because that's literally not a battle. I wasn't prepped. It's not a battle. It's not. It's a theatre show.
Skeptical.
Gifted a Gab, yep. So I battled on a lot of leagues, man. And done a lot, I think. I like to think I've done a lot these days, you know?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Not everyone does, but I think I've battled and won on a lot of leagues, and not a lot of people have done that, so it'd be cool to talk about it.
Yeah, well, everyone in the comments below, let us know what team you're supporting on Premier Battles. Are you excited? What are your thoughts, your criticisms, your praises, whatever? Let's get a discussion going. Follow us at battlerapresume on the Patreon as well. battlerapresume@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with me, a bit more long form. Craft, how do people find you? Your music, your battling?
To be honest, right now, just Facebook. I've got a page which is just craft-d, or just Twitter. It's an underscore, so craft_d. I log into both those things regularly enough. So yeah, definitely hit me up for anything, really.
All right. Well, yeah, and this will hopefully be a fun time capsule for people in the future when the first season of Premier Battles is over, and they can look back and like, oh my god, they didn't realise it was going to take over the world, or whatever. So definitely been fun to do this, man. But yeah, thank you again, bro.
Big up, man. See you later. Take care.